All right, welcome everyone to Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we're here for Dark Season 3, Episode 5.
Noah's back.
Noah's back. Oh yeah,
boy.
that's what you want to start with. Cool.
Yeah, right. There were some other things that happened last episode that were kind of crazy.
Adam and Eve, birthing through, Martha and Jonas, the trio that will be the Infinity.
Yep. Who knew the Infinity?
Breaking of the loop, the beginning of the loop.
Right. The Infinity symbol is actually indicative of how it works because it's when someone from this loop over here ends up going into this loop over here.
Oh my goodness. And that's... it makes sense.
It all makes sense. But, there's also an apocalypse that's going to be happening in minus 33 years plus 2 days. So, gotta go stop that. Gotta go stop that. But also, then there's the Adam over there with the Martha over there that probably just recently had sex with Jonas over here. Mm-hmm. And they're doing their stuff. So, yeah.
Yeah, we've got a massive setup to where we can bring our Jonas into the next kind of stage of understanding about how this loop truly works and has worked.
Right.
Because the other world, this world, deja vu world, whatever we want to call it, has been intrinsically linked to ours throughout the whole thing.
Oh, yeah.
But as we travel to the end, we might be able to find a way to actually stop it. And if that's possible, if this is a Jonas that is getting completely new stuff that the other Jonases just don't have, we are in a truly fortuitous circumstance.
Yes, or at least we can hope so. But regardless, it actually, kind of, for the most part, is pretty easy to understand.
It makes sense.
And that's weird.
Right. I think there was still some things I had to kind of parse out a little bit with just being able to track who knows what and what part of things are actually different or the same. Mm-hmm. And now I think I kind of have it. But, okay. So, y'all, without further ado, let's get into this. Well.
Oh.
Well.
Huh.
Okay. Whoa. Whoa.
Yeah.
Sterben Teil eines unendlichen Uhrwerks? Uns allen ist eine Wahrheit gemein. Wir werden geboren.
Yeah, we live and we die,
Wie gültig für unser Weg dazwischen aussieht.
All right.
All right, let's finish the path between then.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, in our world. Life and death.
Okay.
I think people are going to die this episode.
I think that might be the case.
Zeit treibt ein grausames Spiel.
Okay.
Oh.
Wirst du es zu Ende bringen?
That's all I have been doing.
Yeah.
Eva wird ihr Ziel niemals erreichen.
Oh, he says it so, sadly.
Ihre Welt hat es ebenso wenig verdient, gerettet zu werden, wie unsere.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
Neither of them has any more right to exist over the other, but even still, that doesn't say anything. That doesn't mean anything. It just shows where his motivation lies, I guess.
Right. Okay, yeah, that was creepy. This entire thing of the two worlds at war with each other is just because this couple didn't talk after they banged it out.
Yeah, maybe.
They just had an awkward parting and that was it.
Maybe.
Enemies forever.
Wir müssen los.
No. We're together. Okay.
Nichts.
Yep. All right, there it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cuddling is important, guys.
Wir haben dich gestern die ganze Zeit gesucht. Kilian meinte, du warst bei ihm. Und danach bist du wie vom Erdboden verschwunden. Und wer bist du, bitteschön?
Yeah. Oomst. Just a traveler.
Just someone passing through.
Es wird gut.
Her being the one comforting.
Yeah.
Was ist jetzt los?
I'll be back for dinner. Okay.
All right.
Right. Yeah.
Heute Abend um 10 Uhr hier raus. Und wenn man dich fragt, was du da machst, dann sagst du, du konntest nicht schlafen. Versprochen.
Wow.
Es tut mir leid.
The amount of time
Finally.
people just
Took him 33 years,
people
but he
just say
finally
those
apologized.
words, and it's just so late. It's
Yeah.
just so late for them.
Ihren Gefängnisstrafen verurteilt. Unterdessen werden deutsche Kernkraftwerke vermehrt Sicherheitsprüfungen unterzogen. Von Seiten der
Oh, Charlotte. Bist du schon zurück?
Whoa.
Glaubst du, dass es geht? Dass man irgendwie zurück kann und die Dinge ändern kann?
Her asking this question to
Like,
him
seriously.
in this serious manner, yeah.
Like, we haven't really seen much from her, from this version of her.
Yeah, just younger, you know?
Ich habe mir lange gewünscht, die Zeit zurückzudrehen. Aber mein
What?
Herz ist nicht im Gestern. Auch nicht im Morgen.
No, that's not the device. What is this?
Das bist nicht du. Das sind nicht deine Eltern. Das ist mein Sohn und seine Frau. Wow. Die sind bei einem Autounfall ums Leben gekommen.
Okay.
In dem Laden war ein Geräusch. Da waren zwei Frauen. Die sahen eigenartig aus.
Oh.
Die hatten ein Bündel in der Hand. Das Bündel warst du.
Oh my god.
Den Wagen meines Sohnes in den Fluss gedrängt. Man hat nur die Körper meines Sohnes und seiner Frau gefunden. Meine Enkelin wurde nie gefunden.
Oh, wait a minute then. Wait a minute then.
Das ist das Einzige, was du bei dir hattest.
And there was the whole thing of, like, the people drowned in the river.
Well, I'm thinking more the idea of, like, where did the granddaughter go then?
Wer bin ich?
Oh,
Ich weiß es nicht.
yeah.
Ich weiß es nicht.
Oh. For
Okay.
someone so influential and tied to everything, he knows so little.
Yeah.
But we know is a drop, what we don't know is an ocean.
Charlotte?
Ein Kollege hat mich reingelassen. Ich habe noch ein paar Fragen zu dem toten Jungen im Bunker.
All right. Yeah.
Yeah, but in our other world,
Right.
Hast du angefangen, hier zu arbeiten?
Ungefähr zur gleichen Zeit. Die Schichtpläne hast du bekommen?
yeah.
Gefragt, ob ihr die Pläne archiviert. Langfristig.
Von welchem Monat sprechen wir?
No, what year?
Nicht Monat.
Yeah.
1986.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh, goody.
Okay.
Goody. All right. careful in your post-apocalyptic environment, you know.
Right. Okay, so just a bar, not an actual... Not a gun or anything.
Whoa. Whoa. Oh my god.
Okay. Okay.
Oh, this is exciting.
That's wild.
That's exciting.
Hallo, Claudia.
Yes! Yes! I've been waiting for you, Claudia! Claudia's like always been like looming in the background like she's tied to just everything. So we got a Claudia from the other world here, and yeah, that
yeah,
tracks.
Who knows what that means?
Well, there's things that Claudia shouldn't have access to, but she had the journal.
Oh,
when she
sure.
was so old,
and maybe this is how the Sundering happened, is that Claudia from the other world came and talked to her, and then they basically split and did their own thing.
Well, no, because there's multiple ways in which they have to be connected. It can't just be the one, because this one is iterative. So there has to be others in which it's more fundamental. Yeah. Oh. Oh. Oh.
That's
to have
okay.
a child.
Ich bin hier, um dich ins Licht zu führen.
Yeah.
Da draußen gibt es zwei Gruppen, die um die Vorherrschaft über das Reisen durch die Zeit kämpfen. Licht und Schatten.
All right, yeah, spare the sales pitch, you know, brass tacks.
Diese auf seinem Weg werden ihn dorthin leiten. Aber Eva will beide Welten retten. Ich verstehe nicht.
Yeah.
Jonas hat gesagt, wir können es ändern. Wir ändern eine Komponente.
It's already changed. Like it's already like done. Yeah, there's no
Positive Rückkopplung. Jonas hat die Passage in 2020 geöffnet. Der ältere Jonas hat sie zuvor in 2019 geschlossen, nachdem sie im Sommer 86 das erste Mal geöffnet wurde.
yes.
Einer Komponente der schwarzen Materie. Halbwertszeiten. In jedem Kreislauf wird an all diesen drei Momenten eines der Fässer im AKW die Apokalypse auslöst.
Aha.
Alles in dieser Schleife wiederholt sich. Leben und Tod.
Cool. That was actually a reveal, because I was like, wait, no, we're just catching this Claudia up to speed so that she can then be militant and going forth and no longer as defeated and just trying to survive in the apocalypse, but actively trying to work towards something here that will be in alignment with older Claudia.
Substanz in den Fässern. Sie macht es möglich, durch die Zeit zu reisen.
Oh,
Mist.
Nice.
Ist nicht schlimm, ist nur ein kleiner Kratzer.
Wait, did one of the other Marthas have a scratch there? Or is that just something showing that it's different?
Was ist los?
I'm trying to remember. Shit, I don't remember.
Because both are crazy, right?
Der Kratzer. Sie hörte ihn.
Yeah, no, it was one that was on.
Und es gibt einen Weg, sie zu retten. Meine Welt.
Ich habe keine Ahnung, was mit deiner Welt ist. Aber das hier ist meine Welt.
Wenn ich verhindern kann, dass die Fässer geöffnet werden, wenn es eine Möglichkeit gibt, es alles zu
Und wenn es
stoppen,
das ist, was sie will?
Every bit of his journey still.
Die es verhindern. Vielleicht sind wir es, die es überhaupt auslöst.
Warum sollte sie das wollen?
Weil sie alle
They all lie. They do. They do.
die ganze Zeit habe ich das gemacht, was die anderen gesagt haben.
And they were always lying to you. Yeah.
Endlich wissen, was die Wahrheit ist.
Amazing how just a scratch caused that.
Mm-hmm.
But now they've split up. She's not gonna follow him.
Oh, or she is.
Or she is.
Okay. And is that the difference, or is that what it always was, right?
Maybe.
Is by Jonas doing this, is he actually making it, you know, go the way that it would always go?
Yeah, who knows? Who knows? Well, now we're here in 86, and we can see, like, potentially some effects of the accident.
Sure.
Who is this?
Innen ist wie ein schwarzes Loch. Wenn du einmal drin bist, kommst du nie wieder raus.
They look vaguely familiar, but...
Yeah, nothing's coming to mind. It's just Peter.
Ist kompliziert.
It's Peter Doppler. It's, yeah.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
The facial structure, yeah. Yeah, because he came back to Linden. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. This is them meeting. Like, can't you see it? Like...
Not really. Oh, okay. No, never mind. Body language. Yes, that's
Well,
Peter.
the body language is definitely there, but, like, the facial structure and everything.
Glaubst du dran, dass man jemanden von den Toten zurückholen kann?
Do you always begin conversations this way?
Yeah.
Ulrich.
Ich muss noch mal ins Büro.
Well,
Yeah,
well.
that's,
And go somewhere else with Noah. Shit. Well, now I hope Noah saves her.
Yeah.
Wohnst du hier alleine?
Oh, yeah, he's hanging out here.
Dad will be back soon, hopefully. Either way.
And maybe someone else with a penchant for violence.
Yeah. It's got to be so scary because if you don't answer him, he gets maybe potentially more angry. She can't answer because her hands are tied.
Hands are tied, yeah.
Yeah.
Just take some food and go, dude.
You got your supplies. Bro.
Yeah, he's a lot bigger than Peter.
Yeah.
Fuck.
No! No! Come on, Peter. Come on.
Now he's got a knife.
Yep.
Good job. Good job, girl.
Oh, what a... What a tense scene. She can't even cry out to her dad, like...
And the soldiers were right. You shouldn't keep bringing her back here.
Oh, okay. What a fun trio we have here. Yeah. Oh. Wow. So where's she going to? They're both going together.
Very fun.
Right, because Francisca has effectively lived out so much of what she needs to be like doing probably by having gone back so far. Their journey could just be beginning. Oh, okay. This is nuts.
Adam darf diesen Knoten niemals lösen. Du musst sie führen.
Gotcha. And this is where the notebook came from.
Versteh nicht. Wohin führen?
Über den immer gleichen Pfad.
Wow.
Okay.
Wir müssen den Knoten aufrechterhalten. Du musst in deiner Welt alles dafür tun. Und ich in meiner. Jonas, du wirst ihn leiten müssen. Und dich später gegen ihn...
Cool.
Yeah.
I like it. That's how she got the notebook.
Yeah. And also...
Tun muss. Es steht alles da drin.
Yeah.
Wir werden uns wiedersehen. In deiner Welt. Bald.
Halt, warte!
And also the means by which then she ends up being the mentor to Jonas in a lot of ways.
Jonas? Was, wenn es die Wahrheit ist?
Yeah, you don't know.
Deine oder meine?
Yeah, let's literally have a shift in perspective. Come all the way back full circle.
Hast dich längst entschieden.
Uh-huh. He can't let go of his Martha, yeah.
Das hier alles nicht.
None of this?
Well, just meaning that he wasn't manipulating this. Like,
Yeah.
Wolltest das alles nicht.
He said it very poorly.
Gestern Nacht ist...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's get real specific. Any?
Das wolltest du nicht.
Well...
My heart wants what it wants. Oh, the pain. Just...
Is she gonna say the line to him this time?
No, I don't think it's the right time for that.
Sie ist falsch, ja.
It's just crazy how gaunt and, like, weak he looks. Like, if this is the man inside of Adam.
Right.
Just,
Yeah.
like, wrapped up in layers and layers of pain and despair.
Okay.
Wow, he's still following her though. Like like you gotta believe that this is the way out. Like the fact that they've stuck it out through this is him letting go of older Martha, you know, other Martha. Oh no way. She's gonna jump her.
Oh shit. Wait, really?
Wait a minute. What happened to her mom? Life and death, dude. What happened to her mom?
Oh my god. No, don't.
Is she gonna be responsible for her mother's death?
Die Schlüsselkarte. Ich kenne sie, ich habe das gleich gewusst. Am ersten Tag in der Anstalt. Woher kenne ich sie?
Oh, and she doesn't want to hurt. Oh.
Was hat sie da gesagt?
Well, she got the purse. Oh no, she did. Oh fuck.
No.
Oh god.
No.
Oh no. 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 Are you gonna do what Orc did? Grab a big rock.
Oh my god. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, bro. They're by the lake.
No. God. Fuck. What the fuck?
I mean, that's not enough to kill her. She just wants the key card.
She's old.
And then comes barreling and tackling her into the water.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah.
Ich bin nicht deine Mutter. Du kommst aus der Hölle. Dich hat der Teufel geschickt. Du bist nicht echt.
Ulrich can't get out. Whoa!
No
yeah,
way!
Yeah,
No
yeah,
way!
Yeah!
What?
Oh my gosh! No. No. Katerina dies here. And then she's gonna get dumped in the lake.
Yeah.
She's the story.
Oh my god.
Oh! Yeah, Ulrich's never getting out. Yeah,
Yeah,
so you gotta
put
a
rocks
bunch
in
of
the
rocks.
backpack.
Yep. So she sinks properly. Yep. Look at this very convenient, high-tech backpack. Oh my gosh. You gotta drag her deep. Yep. Perfect. And that's how it's there.
Holy shit.
I love this show. It's so dark.
Yeah.
Like it's this is
Okay.
It's so gripping of a scene. But each death is setting up people exactly to where they need to be. Is setting up things and objects exactly where they need to be. What? She looks a lot like the lady in the photo of Tin House. I'll have to go back and check, but yeah, Ines.
God.
Da sind wir wieder.
Yeah, and they were away for just the right amount of time to then make it so that he wasn't.
Hast du Hunger?
Wow.
Michael. Hast du Hunger?
Oh my god.
Oh my gosh.
Holy shit.
More and more reasons for her mother to have been just disturbed, basically.
Holy fuck.
Mama, was ist denn passiert? Mama, sag doch was.
an extra reason for her to be terrified of her daughter and Wow. Whoa. Okay.
Den du trägst nicht wert. Ich hätte dich auch wegmachen lassen sollen.
Jesus Christ.
We had heard of how bad she was.
Yeah.
But
no wonder she didn't have a problem getting the rock, you know?
No, I know, but
holy shit.
Yeah, you're never getting out. You waited.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Wow. I was wondering
Beautiful
how
episode,
they were going to set it up to where he would stay here, you know?
Mm-hmm. Well, the thing is, in this world, or wait, no.
This is our world.
No, this is our world. But
yeah.
At this point in time, he theoretically... No, he couldn't. Yeah.
Noah's secretly like I need a hero!
Yeah, right.
He's actually been our hero this whole time, you know? Our weary traveler soldier.
For everyone except Helga.
Yeah.
Although I guess for Helga, no, that was the point, is that he also was for Helga.
Yeah.
And he just, had a few things he needed Helga to do.
Oh, we're back here, are we?
Okay. And then the triplets show up. Oh. Okay. Yeah. All right.
Perfect.
Ist das hier?
Yeah, you should have taken a closer look at everything here. You're not supposed to be here.
So beginnt alles neu.
Whoa. No, this is expected.
Du hast gesagt, wir können beide Welten retten, aber wir können nur eine Welt retten. Oder das ist auch eine Lüge. Ich will zurück. Jetzt. In meine Welt.
No, they're tied together. There's no one or the other. It's either both, neither, or neither of the neither, you know?
Ein Mensch lebt 3 Leben.
Okay. Bring this back.
Yeah.
Das erste endet mit dem Verlust der Naivität.
Naivete, innocence. Yeah, you can see the little scar.
Deines endet
Her right eye.
hier und jetzt.
Was?
Then the trio comes in.
Oh, no way.
Du hast erledigt, wozu du in diese Welt geschickt wurdest.
Wir haben nichts erledigt. Sie hat gesagt, dass wir die Apokalypse stoppen müssen. Die Fässer im AKW.
Du wirst alles verstehen. Wenn es an der Zeit ist.
Oh!
They're just here to kill Jonas.
Jonas is dead!
Yeah, he did what he was supposed to. He gave her a kid, and that's it.
Uh-huh.
What's that new scar from?
She just killed Jonas, maybe. Yep. Oh my god!
Wow.
Oh, yeah. It was him wiping the blood on her. I love this.
Okay.
Him dying on top of the infinity part.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
This being we're in the end game here.
Damn.
This Jonas being just completely desynced from everything here.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
That was a rough episode. That was a rough episode.
That was a very rough episode. Yeah.
Well, that was a deeply uncomfortable episode.
That was a very uncomfortable episode. We got to see multiple people die.
Mm-hmm.
We got to see family hunting, killing family.
Mm-hmm.
We got to see loved ones killing loved ones.
Mm-hmm.
We got to see basically, in a lot of ways, the multifaceted nightmare that this show is on display through multiple different scenes and multiple different types of deaths or murders.
Yeah.
And by showing it in this way, the show gives us the opportunity to kind of ponder the bleakness of humanity and the ways in which, even armed with all the info, even with these gods of time travel preparing everything, it still ultimately usually comes down to, right, but it usually comes down to someone being like, and now your life is no longer has any value or meaning.
No longer required, right?
No longer, no longer.
People as things, it's you're a piece in the cog, you're a cog in the machine, and you've served your purpose.
I love that Jonas being the final death of this episode was kind of the biggest twist of all of this, because one, Jonas dying before the series ends feels right.
Okay. All right.
Because in a lot of ways, he's not in the other world. Like, in a lot of ways, Jonas is the perfect sacrifice, if you will, for this world and worlds to be saved.
And
he can't exist in whatever the new like world, whatever we save, whatever we get out of this. Jonas can't be a part of it.
And yet, from a like meta angle, since he has very much been like the I am main character protagonist.
Oh, he's the protagonist, yeah.
Having him die with 3 episodes left, and dark episodes can cover a lot of territory, also feels just wild.
Well, it's also just one of those fun things where it also doesn't mean much in terms of a TV show structure.
Oh, sure.
Because he can die here just fine.
Oh, yeah.
Adam's still over there.
Potentially.
No, he is. Because we made the distinction. We made the distinction that middle-aged Jonas doesn't know anything about the other world or what have you. Because he's not the same Jonas.
Right. Yeah.
We've done something. Or we've clearly defined that there's a carry through from a previous world that is either just Jonas.
And you potentially have the torch being passed on in Martha, because now you have it being showcased how both sides really are the same, right? In that, Adam and Martha, the old versions of them, right? They both go back and kill the one that they loved, right?
Right. They've both gone and mirrored the same experience for each other. And even if they know that that's important and that's a part of how they do this, it's still got to be gut-wrenchingly painful for them to know or come to the conclusion that that's what's necessary. Because at the very least, they both want things to change. Regardless of whether you see it as saving both worlds as a form of stasis and things aren't changing. No, the worlds are in the shitter. They need saving. So that'd be changing something. If you destroy both worlds and the knot comes unraveled or what have you, and we get something completely different, that's also changing things.
Yep.
But Jonas being here and Jonas dying is changing things. We have to hope. That's basically what the show posits, is that because this happened, we have to hope that the change or the actions that he did leading up to here were enough.
Right. And what I feel like where the change will end up happening, because the most direct, possibility for consequence, right, is Martha, right?
Right.
And that as
Martha
a result of
is a huge part of this.
Right. As a
She's
result
the only
of
part of this now.
Exactly. And so as a result of seeing this, and who knows, maybe this is even what the older Martha's intended, right?
Yes.
That it's the cool, now you will absolutely never become us, right? Because that's like Adam killing Martha in the other timeline felt like a representation, and Adam basically positing in no uncertain terms the inevitability of Jonas's situation, and basically that he's doomed,
no matter what.
And the last thing that would keep you from becoming me, I'm going to take it away, because now that I have gone down this dark path, pun intended, I am now choosing this for myself and for you, right? Whereas in this case, it's a different circumstance, right?
Yeah.
So I could see this being something where we still get the through line of Jonas's arc in that now it's Martha from this other world, and then that's where you can basically get the reconciliation, because if Jonas is the one that goes between the worlds, that's how basically peace is able to be brokered.
Sure, there's so much that we could get into with that, but it's all theory territory,
right? And there's only 3 episodes left, so we're going to see
episodes.
exactly what happens, you know, in very soon.
And in a fun way here, the show giving us a culling of large, important members of the cast, and by them dying also then solidifying entire plot lines into time. A great example of this being Peter's connection to Elizabeth couldn't have maintained in some ways, because in the death of innocence side of death that this was, you need to at some point leave the parents and become an adult.
Right, and Elizabeth had the biggest like transformation probably of almost any of the characters we've seen, other than maybe Adam
over the course of
Eve.
a 33-year
thing, because then it's like, whoa, who to find how,
and it's like,
you know?
Well, okay, not only did she become the survivor and the leader and all that, but she also became the mother of her mother.
Right, yeah, exactly.
Through Noah and everything.
A whole lot of wild shit ended up happening.
Yeah. So that's all completely solidified. Peter is passed. I love that his karmic fate was that he didn't do enough for his family. In a lot of ways, his failure as a father was on display here in the way that both he and Charlotte kind of failed their kids. Yeah, and that's kind of displayed within him not being capable enough to stop the intruder.
Sure, but also just the not thinking about the way in which him doing things that are helpful for himself have negative impact on his family, right?
Right. He ends up hurting the family that he had, basically.
Yeah, exactly, right?
Yeah.
He ends up coming back here, and that's why this whole situation ends up happening, right?
Right.
You know, he could have basically been like, okay, we're going to try and move on, get a fresh start, get as far away from here as possible, because just because the apocalypse happened here doesn't mean the whole world is, you know, in the shitter,
it's
right?
The inability of his character's inability to let go,
right,
in that regard, and that's a fun thing.
A lot of characters have had that, right?
Oh, that's probably one of the most unifying aspects of the entire cast, is that the heart wants what it wants.
Right, the whole thematic element of the time loop is showing how, you know, we are kind of rats in a maze, and we'll keep doing that same thing over and over again, right? Because that's just how we function. That's how we tick.
We chase after what we
right.
want. Yeah.
And so I love that. And also I gotta say, as far as like, since this was an episode of like, hey, killing off a bunch of characters and coming towards the end of a story, that is a I'm not going to say crude, because this show actually handles it quite well, but it is a brutal way to conclude character arcs, and it usually really bugs me. I usually hate it, because it's I feel like it's done out of laziness, where it's we didn't have something, you know, for this character, and so I guess they'll just die, right? You know, and hopefully that'll get some emotional response from the audience,
it's something that happens a lot in television specifically, is that we've written enough for the character here.
It was a fun ride, and so now just chop it off, right?
Yeah, and it can happen in other ways than an actual literal death, but you know.
But the thing is that having the characters die in this show, like Katarina being a fantastic example of this, right? One, there's the whole, you know, like coming full circle of like, oh yeah, we had been told that, you know, like someone drowned or whatever, you know, here, and like the, you know, the whole necklace thing. But then it's also just another element of her struggling to do something that fundamentally has to fail. Right, like you know, well,
because she doesn't want to do this.
Well, not necessarily has to fail. Well, I'm talking about getting Ulrich, because
I was talking about the murdering of her mother. She doesn't actually want that.
Yes, and yet it's also that wonderful example of, in a similar way to the whole Martha killing Jonas thing, right? Oh yes, you know, clearly the Martha that killed Jonas was emotionally troubled by what she did, right? But she still made the decision to do it, right?
Yes.
You know, in a similar fashion, Katarina maybe you could have figured out some other way to try and get your mom's key card. But then once she does the like, oh, okay, I pull out the knife, oh, I, get the rock, right? Then it ends up going into that space where, they like...
Yeah, she's the instrument of her own demise alongside Ulrich in that regard.
Exactly, right. Yeah.
Yeah. The show gave us a lot of thematic punch to each death so that we would feel the choices that they made and the consequence of those choices led them to this point so that they would then die. And it's tragic because we're going through all the parents, basically. Mm-hmm. We are going through all the parents that Regina, or we started with Regina, who, passed in the previous episode because of
getting killed by her mother. Yeah.
Yeah. Then,
no, right, by Toronto, by her father.
Yes,
right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Then you have Peter. Mm-hmm. Then you have Katharina, and by extension, then Ulrich. Mm-hmm. We have all these characters who, in a lot of ways, are meeting their end because, at least in this world, or maybe obviously the point is that it's the same in the other world as well, but the decisions that they made, or because of not just how lost they are, but because of the ways in which a lot of their parents and those that have been doing the time traveling have left them in such a lost, just broken state. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I am excited for, in a lot of ways, what I expect to continue in the next episode. I very much expect, looking at this cast here, more deaths of this nature to come about. And there's a few that kind of feel left open in that regard, due to things like the incoming apocalypse, the accident of 1986.
Sure.
There's a lot of little detailed things that I can kind of expect in that regard. And part of that also is just then the equivalent, 2019 apocalypse in the Deja Vu other world as well.
Yeah.
But wow.
Yeah, this was an intense episode there. This went past the point of like comfort. Like there's levels of discomfort, right? Mm-hmm. That the show has definitely gone into, usually when it involves like a parent killing their child or a child killing their parent, right?
Yeah.
But this practically bathed in it. Like the whole episode was that. And so, there's a part of me that doesn't really want to talk about this episode too in depth because it's just like, let's talk
that about a theory here then, because I think this episode gave us a really important look at some things with Martha and Jonas, which we can get into.
Okay, yeah.
But I want to talk about the 10 house scene here.
Yeah.
Because he's talking with Charlotte in the 80s, and he's like, those aren't your parents, that's my son and his wife. And we then clearly see two relatively young people having a small child here, a child that was never found according to him. And when I look at the wife of Ten House's son, she looks exactly like young Enos, to like a startling degree.
I don't see it.
I don't know how you don't see it.
Well, one, she doesn't have the birthmark.
I think you're really hyper-fixating on a birthmark if you think that
it's big enough that it would show up.
Okay, you're missing the point here.
All right.
You can look like someone and not be them. I'm talking about how this is someone that clearly, to me, is descended or a descendant of hers.
Okay.
And then this guy, who does he look like?
Magnus.
Yes, by extension, Ulrich and everybody in that regard here.
Okay.
One of the things that's been kind of weird about Tannhaus is just the way in which he just doesn't fit.
He's not connected biologically to any of the other characters.
Right.
Yeah.
So then, like, why is he the time traveler like focus point for all of this.
I mean, yeah, it is. There's definitely possibility for them to introduce more stuff there. I don't think it's needed because I feel like the
okay. I think going into why it's potentially needed might be missing the point here is that he has a connection with Charlotte, and Charlotte has something that she still has to do.
Right.
Which was set up in this episode.
Sure.
And then Charlotte then goes with Elizabeth to go and do that thing.
Right.
Whatever that thing is here.
Awesome. Yeah.
This event of them losing their lives in like a car accident or what have you.
Right.
Very clearly was time traveling shenanigans.
Yeah, it certainly feels like it.
Well, he specifically says they had there were 2 women were there. They looked peculiar. They were carrying a bundle.
No.
That's probably Elizabeth and Charlotte.
Oh, sure.
2 women specifically, coming to meet Tenhouse. What 2 women would travel together and actually
Sure, and it's set up in this episode, so it makes sense that it would happen, yeah.
Right. Everything would be taken from him, but at the very night, I would also be given everything. And then got the call, a truck had forced my son's car into the river. They only ever found the bodies of my son and his wife is never found. But the grandchild, the child being something that was left to be, they never were found. Do you have any potential idea as to who that could be?
So
because I feel like they're really setting up something big there.
So yeah, the most straightforward thing that I don't think is going to be what it is that the 2 ladies, basically time travelers, they knew about what was happening or whatever, and so they then saved the baby. They managed to save the baby, and so then they bring back to Tenhouse. That would involve Tenhouse not recognizing his grandchild, which maybe he hadn't met them yet or something, But then that also doesn't really add anything new to the situation. It's just, all right, cool. You saved one person, and now they continue.
Right, and then it makes Charlotte potentially then Tenhouse's granddaughter.
Right. So then basically it makes it so that there is an actual familial relation, and then that kind of closes the loop of possible mysteries there. I feel like there's a decent possibility that that's likely, given that we only have 3 episodes left in the show.
Right.
So what I would normally expect to happen would be the baby was taken for some reason. I don't know why you have to take a specific baby and then reintroduced somewhere, and then they brought a different baby and they replaced it, basically, right? Effectively. But that I don't know why that would happen here.
I don't get why the baby would be replaced. I'm just thinking
that Charlotte being brought there is effectively we have a baby that couldn't have survived in Apocalypse world, and so we're going to deposit it here because we know this person will be able to take care of them because they just tragically lost their family.
Sure. I'm more just thinking that there's the reason why this is being addressed here is because Tenhouse's connection to all of this has not been explored. And so the show is actually answering the Tenhouse question here.
Sure.
And in the same episode is setting up the 2 women that would then travel to him and doing it in a very efficient way.
Yeah, well, and also if Charlotte was the baby that fell into the, then it just sets up also the answer of, okay, if they're the 2 women, where did Charlotte come from? Because either they go time travel to go grab Charlotte from somewhere, right? Or, obviously they'll have to do that. And if it's from the very time that, in the story that was talked about, then that's when fewer scenes that need to be shown, basically.
Well, right. We can potentially theorize any person being the time traveler in the car forcing the kid off the road.
Yeah.
That's in some ways not important.
No.
But
it's possible that it could have just been a freak accident.
It could have been a freak accident, absolutely. Yeah. They would just have the knowledge that it happened.
Kind of like, even though this was by far the scene that
they maybe found the child,
right. Even though this was the scene that I by far liked the least and was the most uncomfortable with in the episode, the scene of just the random intruder, scenes like that where it's just a random person, it did feel like some of those were kind of missing in this show of like, everything's a time traveler, rather than just like, nah, just crazy shit happens, you know, right. And then you have to deal with that.
Yeah, I think most of those were in scenes where like the police officers end up stopping, you know, Ulrich. Like it's the kind of things where someone who's not a time traveler, just someone who's living their life, ends up encountering a time traveler and freaks out because you know that kind of thing happens. So because the time traveler's not equipped to properly handle being in that time.
It's usually regular people that then need to deal with time travelers, not time travelers that then suddenly need to deal with regular people.
Yes, exactly. But yeah, I would be curious if it wasn't Charlotte, if the child of Tannhaus's son and then the son's wife is not Charlotte, if it's somebody that needs to be basically put at a specific point in time, like earlier or in another thing or what have you, or potentially even extricated from this world, or I don't know. Yeah, I'm just curious about that, and yet I think I'm like bang on that. Oh, they're two women, and we just saw two women go off in time travel at the end of the episode. It feels very open and shut and efficient for an end of the series kind of question being answered.
But especially given that it's in this timeline, so it's probably not like two Marthas or something.
No.
Like it could be two Claudias or a Claudia and someone else maybe, but probably not.
Yeah, I don't think there's anybody so far that's in a position where they would need to be like adopted or anything like that.
Also, gotta say, the scene where the Claudia shows up to the other Claudia, I really like that because, like, given that we are introducing, like, we have all these factions and we keep, like, 1v1, right, as far as groups go. And then we keep scaling it up. And so then we need, like, a bigger group that people are up against, from Noah to Adam, that sort of thing. But then to whole other universe, the Claudia situation did kind of need to be explained a little bit. And so the idea that, that was still the other universe, just feeding her info.
And I had been wondering if it was going to be that our Claudia went to the other universe, but no, other universe Claudia came to her and was just like, here you go.
Yeah.
And she also explained the passage in the tunnel and everything and why that actually is even the place there. Because of these looping points with like the cesium and the radioactive half-lives basically saying, there you go. That's the answer for the tunnel.
The time travel stuff comes here. It has a half-life of, I guess, 33 years, you know, or something like that. And so because it's continually brought here, the residual effects kind of create the tunnel.
Right. Those are all lingering, like, kind of markers for...
Yeah, that's a great point. That is very helpful for me because the tunnel always seemed like the thing that they actually discovered. And then the matter was like a experiment, consolidation, or refinement of whatever, you know, hoobity-ha that they discovered there, right?
Right, and now we know that
it's actually the opposite, and that does a whole lot to basically be like, no. The beginning point was them doing test stuff and being like, ooh, here's this thing that we didn't know about. There was no tunnel that was always there since the dawn of time, you know?
Right. The part that I'm still curious about, because at some point we have to maybe at the very least tease this apart, is but is there anybody here, potentially now it might be Adam, like that might be the thing there. Is there anybody here from a previous loop or another world or another iteration of things that has been just keeping it quiet, keeping it like down low, because it's clearly now not Claudia.
Oh, right. As the like, okay, I'm going to do my time travel thing, but no one can know that I'm a time traveler, so that way no one fucks with me kind of a thing.
Kind of, yeah.
I could see that.
Yeah, it would fit in going all the way back to season 1 with, you know, middle-aged Jonas being, you know, our stranger going around and doing stuff and things.
I feel like the show doesn't have the real estate to really bring up something like that.
No.
You know?
No, it really doesn't. But I think they could clearly tease it, because in order to have an ending for this show, you still have to resolve this. You you could try and make a satisfying ending out of a perpetual loop, but I don't think that's what they're going.
And that's
towards.
where I think the big X factor here is Noah.
Noah. Oh, yeah. Not Martha. Not
so Martha.
In a lot of ways,
So Martha is the big one.
Martha's the big one because she carries the baby. She's seen all this stuff.
Yes. Correct. Martha is the X factor. Noah's the surprise dark horse that basically is here, and I feel like we're going to get big impactful things from. But the show is not being as like, this person is going to do crazy stuff,
no.
Right?
We just killed Jonas.
Yeah, exactly.
There's no this person is going to save everything.
Right.
There is kind of that in that the beginning and end came about because of Martha and Jonas's child.
Right. So, we need to see what Martha does, right? But I think the number two after Martha, and probably Charlotte, I guess, but Charlotte might just be doing the thing that she was supposed to do here. And I guess that's why I don't want it to be where they just get Charlotte, who was actually the baby that fell into the river, and then they bring, because then it's just Charlotte's whole goal was to basically maintain her own existence, and it doesn't really do anything.
I mean, no, it's tragic in that basically
it's total.
You won't ever have closure.
No, yeah. From an emotional angle, absolutely. There's plenty of ways in which that can be fantastic, right?
Right.
But as far as the grand scope of this whole time travel thing, then it doesn't feel as relevant. And that was and Charlotte's continually investigating. Felt like she was kind of upgraded in plot relevancy, especially after Ulrich got trapped in the past. So I want that to be more important than just that.
Well, it's more important because it's tied to a time traveler that's not necessarily her. And that's why I wanted to bring up the Tannhaus stuff, is that we have Noah in the mix through that. Mm-hmm. So it all gets put into greater relevance in that regard, no matter what you do. But then you have the idea that Tannhaus is the chosen one to be the guy that will get manipulated by everybody to make the time machines. For what reason? Well, he's been in the town and his family a really long time.
No, so that's the element where I think it could just be a world convenience thing, in that he was someone who his family was wealthy, and therefore old and wealthy, which for time travelers that's a river in a desert, right?
Yeah, I guess so.
And then was, as a result of circumstances that could also be theoretically tied to time travel stuff, was basically set up to be easily persuaded to invest a lot of that time and resources into this thing, right?
Which means that everything related to then Charlotte, by extension, is potentially connected to all that stuff.
Maybe,
because she could have been the one to motivate him by her actions to then set up herself by killing her parents, or instigating the means by which, in order to then,
where it's
he wouldn't make the time machine if not for any of this kind of stuff happening.
Yeah, maybe.
Because that's, I think, the dark point of this season has been that everybody wants what they want.
Yes.
But the reason why they want what they want is usually because of somebody mucking about with their past to set them up in that.
Except that the Tannhaus that we see, him being all old and stuff, it was 33 years before that he got given the time machine as here's the plans, make this.
No, totally.
Right? So
totally,
that was long before the whole thing with his kids happened, and before he ended up getting the baby that we know now to be Charlotte.
But he's been having people come to him and constantly trickle and remind him, you got to do this. I'm going to teach you more stuff of how to do this. And that's been happening at multiple points, not just in the 50s. That was happening a lot, primarily in the 80s.
Right. But the 80s is also when they picked up the finished one, right? So I don't think it'd be something of I guess maybe it could be that we give him the work in the 50s and he doesn't start until the whole tragedy happens 10 years later or something, or 20 years later.
He hadn't been given enough info to actually fix it, because he's just duplicating what he has. He's not actually knowing how it works. He's just
eventually
the one that he had was broken.
No, but eventually it's being given here is a full set of schematics of how it works.
Yes, absolutely. We
basically,
if you go back and watch the show, we cheat the fuck out of Tannhaus in order to
absolutely. But basically what I'm trying to say is that if that was something where he was able to be persuaded back then it wouldn't make sense for it to be tied to something that happens after that.
No, I get the motivation gap, but again, it's the
Tannhaus
being chosen again doesn't make sense even more if you go down that path. Like,
no, because it's the whole thing of just the family line and all that stuff.
But why here? Why now? Like what?
Oh, like why him after all that?
Yeah.
I think it's just because
convenience of where the time travelers are kind of have the most ease to move between, you know?
Sure, and also probably just they maybe because of family connections and the fact that, you know, they ended up working and building the machine that Adam has way back when, he would have some things that he could get, you know.
This is the part where I have to take a step back and remember that I'm thinking linearly again. And I have to throw that out.
Sure.
Because I'm thinking way too linearly with regards to the memories of the people that are themselves not time travelers, as if then, because they're not time travelers, that I can think linearly with them. And you still can't.
Right.
You have to like think about it all instantly.
Well, and there's also the element, and this is where the show's done a really good job of making this still be satisfying.
Yes.
But once you have a bootstrap paradox, right? Which the show is very upfront about the fact that, like, we absolutely
the whole thing is bootstrap paradox.
The whole thing is bootstrap paradox. But it would be very easy for it to be narratively arbitrary because you just say, well, there was a bootstrap paradox and now this is the situation we're in. You don't need to know why it is like this, but at some point it made sense magically in the past and you're never going to see that, you know. But yeah.
Right. But as long as we have little rules and also people that are constrained by their own motivations, we can have as many bootstrap paradoxes as we want.
Right.
And it's actually very satisfying.
Yeah, exactly. Because the show keeps tying it back to the characters and the decisions they make, or rather the decisions they don't make.
Or the decisions they feel forced to make.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
right. And that's how it keeps it thematically relevant, even though you could never have it truly be like this clear picture from a plot standpoint.
Yeah. But I mean, maybe at the end we will.
Yeah.
But y'all, thank you so much for watching these episodes of Reaction and Discussion. If you want to see the next episodes of Reaction and Discussion right now, though, go check out the link in the description below for our Patreon. You got an early access there. You can watch full-length timer reactions there, and all this comes with Discord access, so you can chat with us in the community there about this show, about other shows in general. And also be sure to check out our Twitch channel. See if any of that interests you. We'll see you there. But until then, we're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we'll see you all next time.